Hello, welcome to Downtown Fort Lauderdale, everyone. We are so pleased to have you here this morning. We have an incredible series of guests, a wonderful presentation that we're going to share with you all. This is our first installment of the Pulse of Downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's our real estate market report series that the Downtown Development Authority is proud to release. And to kick off the series, we're thrilled to have Colliers International provide a deep dive into the growing commercial real estate market here in downtown Fort Lauderdale. We at the DDA are a public-private agency that powers the experience, the growth, and the prosperity of downtown Fort Lauderdale. As many of you know, we're a vibrant metropolitan destination in the center of the South Florida region, and we're really a place where all can live like locals while being globally connected. So, this is our first of a series that, as I mentioned, will be quarterly. We are so happy to have all of our registrants be able to access our spring 2021 commercial report. You'll be given a link after this event. And please note that we will have our residential report to be released later this summer. So that will be in an in-person event, but right now we get to keep the virtual vibe going with this great panel. So before I introduce everyone, I just wanted to give some interesting facts that you might not know about downtown Fort Lauderdale, just to kind of enjoy the moment here. And you might not know that it was several different movies have been filmed in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Everything ranging from comedy to drama. We had True Lies, Caddyshack, Happy Gilmore. Downtown was a destination that many recognized as spring break central or retirement hub, but that's been blown out of the water. And downtown Fort Lauderdale now is a true economic engine with a $29 billion economic annual impact. That's like hosting the Super Bowl every single weekend. So we know the importance that downtown Fort Lauderdale has to the city, to the county, and the region. And, part of that is just the amazing experience that we have. 165 miles of navigable waterway in the city of Fort Lauderdale, and almost 400 boats come through the New River in the core of downtown every single weekend. So when you mix all of that together, the experience, the place, the economic driver, we have just this wonderful destination, and our panel of guests that I'm going to introduce now are here to share their perspective, their incredible support for downtown and what they see for the future. So first and foremost, I would love to introduce Ken Krasnow, who is the Vice Chairman of Institutional Investor Services with Colliers International. And Colliers has been a partner to the DDA for several years now, producing these incredible reports. We also are so pleased to have Rino Cerbone. He is the owner and chef of Heritage Restaurant here in Flagler Village, downtown Fort Lauderdale. Tere Blanca. Tere is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Blanca Commercial Realty, a powerhouse in South Florida commercial real estate. We have our rock star, Stacy Ritter, the president and CEO of Visit Lauderdale. And I'm so excited for Stacy to talk about some of the changes that she's brought to the agency and the brand moving forward. And certainly last but not least, Jake Wurzak, who's the president of Wurzak Hotel Group and founder of DoveHill. And Jake developed the Dalmar Hotel here in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and will share his insights on the future of hospitality in that regard. So without further ado, I would just like to invite all viewers to utilize the Q&A feature to submit any questions you have. Ken will kick it off with an overview of the report, and then we'll jump into a great conversation and dialogue with our guests. So thanks for being on our call, on our webinar this morning. And Ken, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Jenny. Really happy to be here. Happy to partner with the DDA on this report. I am going to try to go really quickly through some of the highlights of the report. As you can see here, we do have a thriving urban downtown core. The yellow is technically the DDA taxing authority, but everything that we're going to be talking about in this report is the blue. So everything from Sunrise down to 17th, East Las Olas. But as you can see there, population, business growth, employees, all trends and themes that we're going to hit on as we go through the balance of the report. The next slide really encompasses why we're all here, why we're so bullish about Fort Lauderdale, why so many people and businesses are choosing to move here. Jenni hit on a couple of the themes, but you'll hear it throughout. You know, vibrancy is one of the key themes in terms of what Fort Lauderdale has to offer, and also center. Increasingly, you know, there was a great Broward workshop this morning. Increasingly, we know that Fort Lauderdale is the center of Broward County, increasingly going to be the center of this dynamic South Florida region. And a lot of the sort of the buzzwords that you see on this slide here, you know, business friendly, growing, affordable, you know, magnet for talent, you know, those are all of the things in terms of why we're so bullish on why Fort Lauderdale has such a dynamic future ahead of it. And again, we've got a dynamic panel of business experts that are going to really dive into a lot more of these themes. So on the next couple of slides, we're going to go through the office market, the retail, and the hospitality market. With regard to the office market, as you can see there, you see that, you know, we've got a vacancy rate now that's pushing upwards of 19%, while in some factors that seems high, and it's double from where we were 5 years ago, but nobody is concerned. As you can see, we're delivering new product to the market, which is badly needed. And so it's the proverbial, you know, you take that one step backward and you invest in your market so you can take the 2 steps forward. There have been over $1.2 billion of office sales occurred over the last 5 years. So the investors in this market know about long-term viability. Nobody is concerned with regards to where the state of the office market is today. We're going to hear more from Tere as we get into it a little bit more. And on the next slide, you'll see that the market is made up of a tremendous diverse talent of financial and industrial type companies. Really excited about some of the new companies that are choosing to move into downtown Fort Lauderdale, from you know, TTI, which makes Milwaukee and Ryobi, you know, tools, to PJ Solomon, which is one of the leading investment banking, you know, firms in the world. So what you see here is a truly diverse, you know, ecosystem from the technology sector all the way to the industrial sector, and then obviously some of the growing areas in financial, healthcare, you know, and the like. So we're going to get into more detail with Tere on the state of the office market. Spend a little bit of time now talking about the retail market. And again, as you can see here, you've got a pretty strong retail market across all of South Florida, quite honestly. You know, a lot of people think that the retail market, you know, through e-commerce, the rise of e-commerce has really been decimated, but tremendous population and income growth in our areas have really kept the retail market one of the top performing retail markets in the country. And Fort Lauderdale, kind of right there in the middle, is definitely one of the strongest. As you saw in the opening slide, you know, our population growth in 2020 in the downtown core is now just short of 19,000 people. So that's a 41% growth over the last 10 years from 2010 to 2020. In the next 5 years, it's projected to go 45%. So we'll be north of 27,000 residents in the downtown core. And as the old saying goes, you know, retail follows rooftops. And so, you know, the more people and the more businesses that are choosing to move into this area continues to make this a dynamic and strong retail market. And the next slide indicates that you're seeing a, you know, real kind of divergence of companies and businesses. I know Rino's on and he's going to talk a little bit about heritage. You see there that middle box, that north of Broward, the Flagler Village, the Progresso, you know, truly great cities are diversifying with neighborhoods that bring diverse, you know, talents and diverse experiences. And what we're seeing is that this is no longer just a kind of a Las Olas retail corridor. So we're getting supermarkets, the Greenwise Market in downtown, and then clearly the Progresso Flagler Village area has really attracted some really unique brands to this market. So the retail market is definitely one of the bright spots here in the Fort Lauderdale market. As we go forward in terms of, we're looking at where the retail market is evolving on the next slide, you're seeing, a shift in how people are going to be shopping, dining, and so on and so forth. And the beauty about, where Fort Lauderdale is positioned is you've got a city, you've got a group like the DDA that really understands these new trends. And is flexible. That's one big word. I'm sure Tere will talk about it with regards to the office space, but specifically also in the retail market. You've got a lot of new concepts, whether it's, pop-up retail, or whether you're looking at, ghost kitchens. So everything from how you deal with curbside delivery, returns, to, zoning changes, all of the dynamic changes that are taking place within the retail market. And we go into a lot more detail in the report, but in a city that understands and embraces these changes is where the retailers are flocking to. So the other thing that I think you're going to see, and I'm sure Stacy will get into this a little bit, is kind of the brand and the brand of where these retailers are positioning themselves, the where Fort Lauderdale as a brand is positioning itself as a dynamic, innovative city. Again, is really attractive to these variety of retailers that are moving into our area. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the hospitality market, and we are very fortunate that Stacy is with us here today. But as you can see, generally speaking, our Fort Lauderdale market is outperforming not only the rest of Florida, but clearly the rest of the United States. The airports, even with the cruise industry effectively being sidelines, Fort Lauderdale Airport in first quarter 2021 is expected to have a little over 5.4 million travelers, which is going to surpass where they were in 2019. And again, we're going to really hear from Jake with regards to the experience of what the Dalmar and the cool rooftop and the vibe that's brought to the downtown market. Similar to what we've seen in Miami, it's no longer about the beach. These are hotels that cater to Floridians, staycations. They cater to residents with amenities, people that are visiting and staying in these hotels. Yes, there's a lot of visitors that are coming to our area, but these are the kind of downtown that are attracting businesses and residents alike. And Stacy will probably talk about some of the business and convention market, but clearly we've seen a return of the leisure market, and that shows up in the rates and the occupancies and so on and so forth. So it's really exciting to see this dynamic hotel boom in the downtown market, and we're going to be bringing a new 5-star resort hotel to the Las Olas corridor. So, really excited about where the hospitality market is positioned specifically in downtown. Next slide, we're going to talk about some big picture trends that we're seeing. And again, I know we've all experienced a really tough year with COVID and the like, and there's been a lot of loss. The silver lining, if you will, that has come out of COVID is kind of this great experiment, this working from home or working, from anywhere, has proved that it is working. And so no longer is it people chasing jobs, but it's really jobs chasing people, and more people are choosing to move into our area, and therefore more and more companies are going to be choosing to move into our area. And the areas that we're starting to really, again, this is where, city DDA leadership really comes together. The big area and the big trends that you're seeing and why people are choosing to move to this area. Yes, clearly, quality of life, but the bigger picture issues in terms of, workforce development, affordable housing, transportation, areas that support innovation and entrepreneurship. That's what's attracting, this great migration of talent. And as you can see there also right in the middle, we've got our Floridian talent staying home. So, historically, people would go to school, leave to go to school and never returned. We're now seeing a really broad migration of talent from within and from all over the country, and increasingly we're really starting to see it spread across the country. The California influx is really taking shape in a pretty dramatic way. And then last but not least, we have really moved out of a pretty dark period where we were really in this kind of lockdown recessionary mode into a full kind of recovery mode. We were just treated to a Broward workshop seminar earlier this morning. And again, the fact that we've gotten control of the virus, we've had this mass vaccination rollout has really, accelerated our move into full recovery mode. And I talked about the workforce and the business and the in-migration that is really accelerating. And as more and more people are traveling and are free to move, we think that's going to be an even more dramatic acceleration of this recovery. Stacy, again, I'm sure we'll talk about tourism and business tourism growing. The last thing, though, is that last bullet there in terms of leadership and innovation. The city of Fort Lauderdale, from the mayor to the commission to city management to the DDA, you've seen things such as the Miami soccer stadium, the Panthers, the leading discussion with regards to the tunnel and Elon Musk's. Companies and talent are attracted to areas that are innovating and that are growing. And Fort Lauderdale is clearly on the forefront of leadership and innovation. And it truly takes a village of public and private collaboration to make this happen. And that's why we really are believing full-throated in where Fort Lauderdale is going to be positioned to lead the South Florida market as we go forward. And so again, thanks to Jenni and Elizabeth and the whole DDA team. They've got a very strong and encouraging board of directors who continue to invest in events like this and in the Florida, Fort Lauderdale market. We're excited to be a part of it and happy to join the discussion as we get into our expert panel. So thank you, Jenni, and I turn it back to you.
And that's great. You always give not only such a good overview, but really the nuggets of information that I think our audience, our panelists, that we can all take and really share the message of the brand, the place, the destination, and really use good metrics and data to quantify where we're at, but also the path forward. So thanks to you and Colliers, and thanks for recognizing my board of directors. We have a great number of individuals who lead the direction of the development authority here. And I couldn't be more proud than to work here and be part of this growth and opportunity. So we have 4 amazing guests who I introduced. I understand that some of our audience members, there may have been a bit of a delay when we first started. So just want to repeat that the information that Ken touched on in his dozen or so slides will be released in a full report. Everyone on today's call will get a link to that. So we encourage you to read it. And again, these will be quarterly series. So the next one will focus on residential. But let's just get into a great conversation here. And so I'm going to just kind of ask, individually, and then we'll talk kind of more in flow. But let's start with you, Tere, because this is really about commercial real estate. And you have extensive experience here in South Florida, lead amazing slate of clients locally here in downtown as well. So can you talk to us about what some of the new to market tenants are looking for? How do these diverse products from office space in downtown Fort Lauderdale serve the evolving needs, especially as we move out of COVID and kind of look forward? Talk to us about office space and what you're seeing.
Thank you, Jenny, and great report, Ken. It's exciting to watch what is happening in South Florida. I guess the best way to describe it is the secret is out, and it has been discovered, right, by so many, not only the companies and the entrepreneurs and the global enterprise that lead these companies, but most importantly, like Ken mentioned, by the talent that they hire and engage and pursue to employ. And so during the pandemic, as you know, so many have moved to South Florida. And so the jobs are now pursuing that talent, especially with the GDP growth that is expected this year. We're finding that, talent is precious. And so it is really wonderful to see that Stiles and Shorenstein, for instance, had the vision, not knowing that COVID was coming, to design, for instance, the main Las Olas with everything that tenants and their employees are looking for today. And that is a product that is designed with everything from touchless to outdoor spaces, to community spaces, to places to gather, with being able to have expansive light coming to your space, all the things that employees need to enjoy an experience during the day that feels comfortable and exciting and welcoming, especially coming out of COVID and working remotely for as long as so many have. It's critical that coming back to the office feels like an exciting thing, like a place where you want to go back to, right? And that you want to spend your days. And so we have well over 200,000 square feet of activity at the Main, from new to market tenants, from existing tenants. And this flight to quality has been consistent throughout the region, and not any differently in Fort Lauderdale, as we're seeing throughout South Florida. There are about 1.8 million, if not 2 million square feet of new to market tenants engaged in finding the right product. And what is exciting is that they're not bound to Miami or Palm Beach. They really are in search of quality assets where they can design space that is appropriate, again, to be able to recruit and retain the talent. That is first and foremost what is in everyone's mind today. And so Fort Lauderdale offers an opportunity with a product that has been delivered by Shorenstein and Stiles, as well as new product that it's going to be underway very soon. For instance, in Fat Village by Hines, another global first-class developer like Stiles and Shorenstein, where you're going to have over 300,000 square feet in 2 Class A office buildings with the T3 methodology that they use, which is all about technology and transit connected, as well as timber construction, addressing everything that we hear about in terms of sustainability, just like the Main is also designed to address energy efficiency and everything that is so important for companies today to check the box on ESG. So the conversation about environmental, socially, socially conscious and from governance standpoint has been embraced by these top developers. And we're seeing, of course, the success by having tremendous leasing interest in both projects that we're so excited to be representing. The Fort Lauderdale market downtown brings together everything that the talent wants to enjoy. Varied residential offerings, the food and beverage. It's all about food and beverage these days as well, right? Being able to go downstairs and enjoy a great variety of food, having hotels just across the way is also important, and the walkability and then the transit connection that Brightland affords us has made South Florida a commuter community for some time already, and now coming back again to open up with a train station, hopefully opening at the end of the year, and then connecting us, of course, to Orlando and eventually to Tampa. So it's we've got everything that needs to be checked off by these global companies as well as entrepreneurs to offer the kind of product, office product that is first and foremost going to be enjoyed and attractive to the talent that they're trying to hire and retain.
Thanks, Tere. You know, both you and Ken mentioned that companies are following talent and talent is following place. So place matters. The
Place matters. And, you know, it has been a year of, you know, human resources department engaging with their employee base to understand their needs, understand what drives them. And those surveys are coming back, you know, clearly indicating that Fort Lauderdale, South Florida is a place of choice for these employees. We have several international airports, especially, you know, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and right down the street. And so you can be here and be connected to your corporate headquarters in no time to New York or Chicago or even California, and enjoy the quality of life that we have to offer. So it's really a transformative time for us and a very exciting time to be involved in our world of commercial real estate and office in particular.
That's great. That's great. You know, place can be the experience you have in our parks, walking along our streets. But as we know, for, you know, a place you want to live, and Jake, I see through your background, you know, you're a downtown resident. But Rino, I'd like you to jump in here, because the quality of life that we talk about is often a result of the opportunities that we have to dine, to you know, enjoy ourselves out and about. So tell us a little bit about your experience in the restaurant world. We know that your family operated Pizza Time restaurants throughout South Florida, and you chose to make your first mark as a chef owner here in downtown Fort Lauderdale in Flagler Village. What is it about the place and you know, your vision for downtown?
You know, for me, it was I liked the fact that it was a smaller city that I don't know, like everybody who lives in Fort Lauderdale and works and plays here is like just really pumped to be in Fort Lauderdale. So I really like the energy that was surrounding it. You know, there's like this the sense of pride that that really attracted me. But you know, being from here and you know, originally my first thought was to do this in Miami. But for me on a personal level, it just felt right to do it, you know, where I'm from. And then all that other energy just kind of followed, and I just started learning as I was just started immersing myself in it more. And I think it's extraordinary to see the development that's been happening. This whole time so far. I mean, I had the vision to come to Fat Village in 2014 when it wasn't really that awesome. You know, let's be real. And but I knew that something was going to happen because when you look at neighborhoods like Wynwood and you go to Williamsburg in New York, in Brooklyn and, stuff like that. And, once you see a shop pop up somewhere, a coffee shop or a restaurant or whatever it is, the neighborhood's going to start changing. And, but like I said, the thing that I liked about it more, everybody wants to compare us to Wynwood, but the thing that I liked about Fat Village was that I feel like it's more of, instead of building off of a strip, starting a strip first and then having everything else follow. The thing that I liked about it was the opposite. It was a neighborhood and then giving people what they need in the neighborhood. So it was a little bit reversed, and which obviously makes the community even stronger. And there's this kind of loyalty and allegiance from guests and people that that you start to attract. That only transcends through not only your restaurant, but then they want to support other businesses in the area as well, which is just going to make it more attractive for other people to come over here. And I was kind of hoping to put an upscale restaurant in this area would attract people to come over here to be like, hey, even though it looks or may sound like a risk, it's really not a risk. People want it, they're thirsting for it, and I think it's really important that that we just get as many people here as possible to share the vision. So this way we could facilitate and kind of provide people what they want and enjoy normalcy. Obviously the pandemic kind of took that away, and I think that's also another resurgence that's happening, that people are excited to be out again. And you see tensions down, you see people just really happy and enjoying their city again. So as a chef restaurateur, it's really amazing, and I'm really happy to be here. And this is only first of quite a few projects that we're going to do with my amazing team. So really, really pumped about it.
We can't wait to hear more about that. You
Yeah.
hit on some items that I think, personally and professionally appeal to me. And it's this sense of pride that our leaders in the community, investors have, our residents, our visitors, and this authenticity, providing this experience. I think we have such pent up demand from those who live here or visit here. And it's celebrating the diversity in that. So, I know, Jake, we want to hear from you about your hotel, but Stacy, you can really set the stage here with, this brand awareness for the destination. And you've been leading your agency for a little over 5 years now, and there's been a pretty remarkable transformation over there. Can you tell us about, how you thought about re-envisioning this destination and how you would describe it, and where we're at kind of today as a snapshot?
Thank you, Jenny, and thank you for recognizing that we are definitely changing. I do want to say that Reno makes the best white clam sauce in the entire area. Tri-County or the state of Florida, absolutely the best. And he's right next to Best Cookies, which doesn't help. But but thank you. I'm really looking forward to the other options that you're gonna provide here.
Can't wait to have you.
Thank you. I've lived here since 1974. And I can tell you that this wasn't what it looked like when I moved here as a teenager. The only thing there was downtown was a Birdine's, and that was it. So, and we came down here like many people do. We lived in suburban Chicago. My father hated the weather, and at the end of a long week in December, he threw his keys in the snow and he shouted some expletive and said, "We're moving to Florida." But we had been here 5 months before on vacation. We spent a week here. And we got his company to move here. And that's what we hope, by the way, in tourism. Our mission is to bring visitors here, but we hope that they will visit here and then realize what an amazing place it is to live and raise your family, and then come here with their businesses. That's how we've grown, and that's how we've evolved. And our community has evolved tremendously. So when I took over 5 years ago, we had a brand that I thought was a little stale. It was Hello Sunny. It could have been anywhere that has sun, which are a lot of places. It had been around for quite a while, and it didn't really say who or what we were. Could be, again, anywhere. And we have changed. We are a diverse destination. We have over 180 languages spoken in households here. It's vibrant. It's culturally intense. You can find any culture you want, any food you want. And we wanted to embrace that because we think our strength really is in our diversity here. So we wanted to provide something that said who we were and where we were, but also what we are. And we did a lot of surveying. We did a lot of focus groups. We focus grouped residents, visitors, stakeholders, businesses. And the Lauderdale name is very familiar. It's the most familiar name to people. Fort Lauderdale is the most familiar city to people across the globe in our county, and it is very difficult to brand a county. We're a county agency. Our job is to market the entire county, but the Lauderdale name was very significant to people and very well known. So we decided that the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau was an old, stale name. People don't usually call themselves CVBs anymore. It's a very long name. It's very long to put on a business card. It's very long to say your name and title. And a lot of destinations have moved to the Visit, Explore, Discover naming. So we just decided we were going to change our name to Visit Lauderdale because it is so easily recognizable as to where we were. And we created a new tagline that is everyone under the sun, because that is actually what we are here. When I go and talk about the place that I've called home now for all these many years, I say that if you want to only meet people who look like you, don't come here, because the chances are that's not what we are. You will find people from many different countries, many different languages spoken, many different colors and religions, gender identity, sexual orientation, and that's what makes us special. So we are Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun, and we think it absolutely speaks to who, what, and where we are, and we're very happy with it. But as Ken said earlier, there's a lot more here besides a beach, and one of our missions is to show what is beyond the beach, and there is so much more beyond the beach here than there was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. This is a vibrant and growing community, and it's the place to be. I mean, as Rino said, Fat Village 10 years ago, not someplace that most people would have taken a chance on, but some did. And as a result, it's become a destination. The Dalmar, which is a downtown hotel, 10 years ago would probably not have been someplace that someone would have taken the leap. But now it's an amazing place with this incredible rooftop bar and these great views of not only downtown, but you can see all the way to the beach. There's just nothing like it. And as a result, our convention center is growing. We're expanding. We're opening at the end of October a brand new Western expansion. We'll be building a convention center hotel. Convention center business is coming back, although it's slower than leisure. But the leisure market, we're booming. We are doing almost as well as we were in 2019. And we've opened 11 new hotels in the past year and a half in the middle of a pandemic. You don't do that if your community is not vibrant and evolving and growing. And that's who and what we are.
That's great. That's great. And you came out with a beer. I mean, how cool is that?
We are the only destination that has a branded beer.
Oh,
Brewery partnered with us. They are in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and they have branded their Everyone Under the Sun beer, and it got a really good write up on Beach Beer Blog.
Very
No,
cool.
anyway, some beer blog.
I'm waiting for the Visit Lauderdale Vino. So let me know what's next.
Visit Lauderdale what?
Vino.
Oh, Vino. Well, you have to tell my husband about that. He's the wine expert, not me.
That's great. Well, it's really exciting. I mean, you talked about the diversity of our destination, and our beaches are world class. They're first class. They're amazing. And we're one of the only downtowns, not only in the state, but probably the country, that has an urban core. You know, you can see it in the background of the photo behind me. I mean, it's a stone's throw, and it's connected by Las Olas Boulevard. What better, you know, street to connect the sand with you know, Class A office space. So I mean, we have the best of both worlds here. It's really exciting. And Stacy mentioned, this is clearly for you, Jake. You know, 10 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, I don't know, how long ago did we meet when you first came and said, I'm going to build a dual branded hotel and on Federal Highway in downtown, the first real urban hotel that was built in downtown ever, and the first hotel for probably, I don't know, 100 years, I think. No, but you know, that you were a pioneer in your realm in hospitality, but this wasn't your first foray into hotel development. So tell us a little bit about, you know, your experience leading up to this, and why you knew that, you know, building the Dalmar in downtown Fort Lauderdale was going to mean success.
Thanks for inviting me to chat. This is a great group. Just to clarify, I live in Harbor Beach. This is actually my office. We're a design-focused company. It looks like a house. We're creating a vibe in the office. That's what this is about. So we are highly bullish on Fort Lauderdale. We own 3 hotels in Fort Lauderdale, the Dalmar, the Element, and the Renaissance on 17th Street. It's a phenomenal market. Obviously, I live here. One of the driving factors that led us to build the Dalmar was just a lack of high quality experiential assets that were based in the downtown core. There was a lot of stuff on the beach, but there was really nothing serving that purpose on the downtown side. And moving up from Miami, realized like how big of a need that really was. And all of the people that we were socializing with wanted to hang out downtown, were hanging out downtown, but there wasn't really a hotel destination. And every great city has a couple great downtown hotels that really serve as the gathering place. And we wanted to create a sense of place. So, you know, from Terrace Grill to the rooftop, Sparrow, we're doing that. We're trying to get better doing that every day. But we're all on this call because we believe in Fort Lauderdale and we're super bullish about Fort Lauderdale. But Fort Lauderdale is nowhere near its peak and still has a lot of opportunity. And I'd love to buy another hotel in Fort Lauderdale. I think there's bigger opportunity. We're just getting started with what we're trying to do at the Dalmar. And there are other people on the call that are focused on enhancing Las Olas. And I think that is a critical component. there's really going to be a flight to quality coming out of COVID. And sorry to say, I think Fort Lauderdale lacked a lot of quality in certain areas. Certain areas, the quality was over the top, but in other areas, it was really lacking. And with the people that are coming throughout the country, they're going to really be driven to an experience and a quality that is far beyond just going to the beach. And that's what we need to do in order to compete with Miami and Palm Beach. And we're going to compete in a way that's going to cater to probably a slightly different customer, but I want to elevate it up. And I think there's going to be a flight north of particularly younger people that move from throughout the country to Miami and then soon realize that they can't afford the house they want, they can't afford the condo they want. Maybe it's too international, maybe there's too much traffic. The schools are a huge issue in Miami, and they're going to start moving north to Fort Lauderdale. And I think that's going to really bring an added dynamic. The second thing that Stacy touched on, which is critical for, I think, the city of Fort Lauderdale to grow into what we all on this call know that it will be, is the convention center. We were not getting the conventions that we should be getting given the location that we have and what we have to offer. This new convention center is going to be off the charts. Where can you go to a convention center and get to the airport in 10 minutes? That just doesn't happen. So we can offer that in Fort Lauderdale. And I think as you're starting to see some of the vision for Las Olas, some of the vision for other areas in downtown Fort Lauderdale, the quality is starting to elevate. And I think for us to get on the map as a very, very serious South Florida city, we have to be able to drive rents, rates, and certainly home values. So that is where I believe we're going. We've all got a lot of work to get there, but we are on a great path because the change has been phenomenal. Like you said, I mean, we built the Downtown on a funeral home. There was nothing there, and now everything's filling in. So it's exciting to see it, but we definitely we have the residential, we need the office, and it's interesting and exciting to see those developments coming to light.
Yeah.
That's a good point you made at the end. And Terry, yes, I was curious. I mean, do we need more office? Do we need to plan for that so we can have the employees and the visitors to the hotels and those that visit the restaurants?
Absolutely. I think that the exciting thing about what is happening in downtown Fort Lauderdale is that the convergence, right, of hospitality, of residential, of new office coming together, great food and beverage, right, like Rino is bringing, and others. And also, I want to really highlight the fact that you've got this amazing quality offering at the main Las Olas existing today, right? And our rates for this product are in the $45 triple net, right? So some of the local brokers call me and say, "You guys are crazy, that's too expensive." And I said, "Well, you Brickell is at 80, so actually we're great value." I don't know what you're talking about. So the fact is, the new companies coming to the market, the finance companies, the technology companies that are following the talent, it is flight to quality, and they want to enjoy the best-in-class product that is existing in the market, which is currently available at the main, and then following with Pat Village and the Hines project. So, to build new construction, to build quality, there's a cost to it. So the rents, of course, have to follow, and we're still, just a great value proposition in comparison to Palm Beach or to Miami.
And people will pay it if you have the cultural,
of course,
you have all the amenities. So if we have the great restaurants, if we have the great hotels,
exactly,
the NSU Museum, great cultural center, Broward Performing Arts Center. My God, I mean, this is the best performing arts center in South Florida right here, all within walking distance to all the office and all the hotel and all the amenities. They just need to come up. And I think that's happening. And that's what you're describing.
It's happening.
I think one of the main things that has changed since I moved here was that back then, construction was considered shoddy, no matter where you were, and in South Florida especially. And that has evolved to the point where no longer does anybody talk about how Fort Lauderdale is shoddy construction. These places are built, first of all, there's a building code now, which has helped, but nobody talks more about that. Now the conversation is how amazing these places are, how beautiful these places are. Look at the views, the technology that's involved in you know, all the smart technology that's in the newer buildings, whether they're residential or commercial. That has seriously elevated the game here, so that the conversation has completely changed as to who and what we are.
Oh, that's so great. It is true. And you know, you mentioned, Jake, and we got a question from Commissioner Steve Glassman, one of our downtown Fort Lauderdale commissioners. You know, what was lacking? And we just heard, you know, maybe it was perception, maybe it was brand awareness, maybe it was some of our public realm improvements, which I think that's really a role of the DDA, working with our partners and our private developers to continue to improve our spaces that we all share, our streets, our parks. And, you know, learn from whatever, you know, we may have lacked in the past to really be the premier downtown destination. We got a call or a question from one of our viewers about, you know, with the influx of population growth and prices do keep rising. We just heard from many of you that Fort Lauderdale is quite competitive in terms of office rents, residential rental rates, which I know we didn't cover. That'll be in our late summer event. But, you know, in the hospitality sector, in restaurants and hotel, you know, how does this changing and growing downtown destination, you know, impact the employment base that really serves the hospitality industry? Do we need to really start to focus on making sure that we keep that talent pool going, as well as our kind of professional, innovative, you know, tech ecosystem? Maybe Jake, you know, Rino, if you can touch a little bit about that. I know COVID has impacted the ability to really hire up and return back to where we are, but, you know, as downtown evolves, are we creating that place for everyone?
Yeah, hiring is impossible. I mean, Reno will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
But that is, I think, a little bit temporary. Fort Lauderdale has always had fairly low unemployment, but it's a very, very attractive place to live. And I think more so than Palm Beach and Miami. So with all the supply and residential, that will probably level out and people will find their space. But to get to Commissioner Glassman's question, he's a big prominent figure in our city, and I want to make sure that we answer that. And I think connectivity is a little bit lacking, right? So like the beach has a little bit very much of a touristy vibe. So can we put more quality there from a restaurant and food and beverage standpoint? You've seen some great restaurants that have opened there recently and how packed they are. Then connecting up Las Olas. I keep bringing this up, but there are so many people that are investing a lot of money on Las Olas and that are planning to do that, and that's going to be phenomenal. And then now in Flagler Village, we have so much residential. There needs to be a sense of place created, whether that's through art, through parks, through offices, through retail. You know, there's little pockets and we need to connect those places. And that to me is an opportunity. And the way you do that is by mixing uses. Right now, Flagler is just heavily residential. And Las Olas is heavily retail on the actual main core. So as we get more office, as we get a mix of residential there, and you know, I know a hotel is coming there, which is also exciting as well, that will bring the vibrancy that we need here.
Great. I mean,
Yeah.
go ahead, Rino.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And then obviously, just like Jake said, I mean, you know, obviously the more you put in, and Jake, I'm glad you said it earlier. I mean, you know, the fact that there was lacking quality and, you know, now that you're starting to see it starting to come up, you know, you're going to attract a lot of talent. Like, you know, people always say, especially in our industry, hotels, restaurants, stuff like that, that like LA, New York, right? Cause there's people everywhere. There's chefs and managers and, you know, maitre d's just running around the streets everywhere, stuff like that. And over here, we lack it. So there's been a little bit of an issue. But, you know, like I said earlier, once you start bringing in some things of quality and, you know, people start to realize that it's really not so much of a risk because it is such a vibrant place and an awesome place to be. And also to have a business, you're gonna start attracting people from all over. I'm already starting to see it a little bit now. And coming out of a pandemic, that's pretty impressive because, you know, right now, a lot of people, you know, whether they're working from home or just playing it safe, you know, whatever they have, I mean, people are already starting to flock here. So It's only gonna get better. I think like we both touched on, as long as we just keep on pumping quality venues, restaurants, hotels, obviously we talked about the convention center, all that stuff. It's really not going to be an issue. I mean, take a look outside, man. Our landscape is amazing. So who wouldn't want to work and live here? And I'm very optimistic that it's going to be a lot sooner than later. And it's just up to us to just keep, the level up. So I think we're doing a great job so far. Really do.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely folks like you all on the call that are helping move that needle forward. We're going to kind of wrap this up, and I'll see if there's any more questions from the audience. But before I check on that, I'd love to hear how each of you envision, the next 5-10 years out. I mean, what's that big idea? We know that the city and county governments are working together to consider building a joint government campus, a very signature building at the entrance to downtown Fort Lauderdale. We know that Brightline service will soon allow us to get to Orlando, and ultimately we'll see commuter rail service on the FEC corridor. A new federal courthouse is being built in downtown Fort Lauderdale. We have the Florida Panthers just broke ground on a practice rink facility in Holiday Park, our signature kind of recreational destination, now cultural event park. We have improvements planned for Huizinga Park on the river and the whole river walk and streets that connect along Las Olas and up into Flagler Village. People moving here, new restaurants that I know Rino's going to share with us at some point.
Yep.
What do you all envision? How do you describe, the next decade in downtown Fort Lauderdale?
Who's starting that up?
Yeah.
Who wants to go? Anyone?
I mean, I think I'll take a stab at it, but my vision is that you're going to have a fully connected area of Las Olas and 3rd, where the main Las Olas is, and is the whole strip going east and west across to the Brightline station, north of Broward, with lots of vibrancy, people walking, living, grabbing their coffee in the morning and walking to work, and schools expanding nearby as well at the urban core, so that you can have families residing downtown in addition to in other suburban areas of the county. A very vibrant city that is where you can live and work and run your errands and enjoy great food and cocktails, and have friends and family come stay in the hotels next door. So it is happening, and we're going to be here to watch it and to support it, and to continue to help fuel that growth from major investors around the globe and locally, to continue to fuel this development. It's a very exciting time, Jenni.
Stacy, I know with the new convention center and hotel, there's a lot on the horizon. What other, big ideas?
Right, an 800-room Omni being built at the convention center, or something that's never happened here. That will definitely bring those big conventions and conferences that Jake said we have absolutely been missing. And as the yachting capital of the world, we should be bringing in maritime industries, especially. You don't have to be on a yacht to live the yachting lifestyle here. All you have to do is hang out at 15th Street Fisheries, and you can pretend. I also think that we're going to see not just I would envision that we're not just going to see a practice rink, but an actual hockey arena downtown, where people can walk to the game, walk to food and drinks, and then walk home afterward. That's a big deal. We've never been known as a walking city, and that has changed, because you will see people out every day. And as you said, everything's within 2.2 miles here in the downtown area. That's huge. And I know that Florida in general, and South Florida in particular, has always had there's always been this perception that this is where old people come to retire, and that's it. But I think we're going to see a younger median age. I think the median age is going to continue to decline here, which is wonderful for a growing city, and that perception will get shed as a result. And finally, as I said this morning in the Broward workshop, let's not forget that no matter how bad this past year plus this past 15 months have been, and it has been difficult for all of us, those of us who live here and those of us who want to visit here and have been able to. It's 80 degrees here in December, guys. It isn't 80 degrees in Chicago or New York City. Let's not forget that as we look outside our windows at the swaying palm trees and the beautiful blue skies.
That's great. Thank you. Jake.
So I'll weigh in. Everyone did such a great job about talking about the general vision. I'll add one thing to that. And I think my goal would be that Fort Lauderdale has a unique sense of place and is a departure from commodity and can really be distinguished from a picture and a photograph like other places, you know, in Miami. And then just personally talking my own book, we'd love to invest more in Fort Lauderdale. We think there's an opportunity to do very unique, smaller scale hospitality projects centered around heavy food and beverage, like what we do at the Downmar, with rooms, and certainly on the beach. And so we're looking at some opportunities on the beach and in neighborhoods that might not necessarily be completely obvious, but that will, you know, draw a crowd for what we're offering. So we're here to stay. If anyone has anything they want to sell us, we'll talk to you and we'll look. But Fort Lauderdale is a great place. Stacy's doing a great job, and we are only just getting started.
That's right.
Rino, I'm going to let you close out the menu here.
Sure.
Clam
I mean,
sauce.
yeah, with smothered in clam sauce. Yeah, no, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, it's just insane to see what's happened in the last 4. So I could only imagine what's going to happen in 10 years. I'm up, you know, like I said earlier, I'm very optimistic. That's why I moved here, to not only be close to the project, but I saw what was happening. You know, when you just look on Federal Highway, like I remember my parents saying when they first moved to Florida, you know, to get to the airport, they had to, you know, only take Federal and pass the Sears, right? And now you have high rises all over the place. And I really feel like for me, the reason why I decided to be here was because I feel like this little in the middle here, like right by the Dalmar and where I am, it is going to be a center of downtown. You're 5 minutes away from the beach. You're a minute and a half away from Las Olas. We're really in the middle of it. We're in the thick of it. And I think it's just going to keep on getting more and more dense. You know, obviously, like everyone touched earlier, there's such a unique crowd here, you know, from the young professionals moving into these apartments to families being grown in Rio Vista and Victoria Park right there. I mean, everything is really a stone's throw away. So I think with all that, you know, on the come up, it's just going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't see anyone not wanting to invest or set up shop here, or just simply just, you know, call it home. You know, it's a beautiful place with great people, and it's just going to continue to grow. And I'm just excited to you know, to be, you know, part of it with you guys, to just you know, be a part of the development and kind of be like almost like the ambassadors, the pioneers that were here first. You know, it's a no-brainer. And it's only a recipe for success. So very, very excited. And yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Well, thank you. I know, you know, the life of the city, the soul of the city is the place, but it's really the people. And you all have been tremendous today, sharing your story, your perspective with the audience. Ken, you are a great partner at Colliers, and we thank you so much. Do you have any closing comments you want to share?
You know, I think the panel did a great job. I think when you really sort of pull a bunch of the threads together around connectivity, authenticity, you know, innovation, so we're not a commodity. I think, you know, when you pull all of these pieces together and you think about all of the thousands and thousands of visitors and convention people that are going to be coming here, when they see cool, unique, different kind of experiences, different kind of neighborhoods, different kind of places, culture, parks, etc. All of that is going to be the magnet for people to want to stay here. They stay here, the Googles, the Yahoos, the Morgan Stanleys, the you named it, they're all going to follow them because that's where the talent's going to be coming. And increasingly, all of these pieces, and I think we've got throughout all of South Florida, at the public level, again, mayor, commissioners on down to the DDA, a really, really unique blend of public-private partnership that creates this kind of innovative, you know, environment that does connect all of these really, really important threads. So I think increasingly we are going to become the center of this fast growing region because we bring all of these kind of unique attributes. So, and all of the people on this call are part and parcel of that. And I'm sure, hundreds of people that are listening to us. So, as Rino said, think about where we were 4 or 5 years ago. It's mind boggling to think where we're going to be 4 or 5 years, from today. So, it's going to be an exciting time for all of us.
Great ending comments, Ken. The center of it all. You heard it here. Stacy, Tere, Jake, Rino, Ken, thank you all so much for being part of our inaugural event for this series. For our viewers, please, you will stay tuned. You'll receive an email with a link to the full spring 2021 Downtown FTL Commercial Real Estate Market Report. Be sure to stay up to date on all things Fort Lauderdale. Go to our website at ddaftl.org, and you can follow us on social channels at DDAFTL. And again, keep an eye out for our next installment on the Pulse of Downtown Fort Lauderdale. We'll be sharing our summer 2021 residential report along with Colliers again with another fascinating panel. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. And we look forward to working together to make this one of the best destinations that we know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you for lunch, Reno.
Yeah, see you soon. I'll be ready for you.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care, guys.